The landscape of media has changed. At one point in time, there was nothing but newspapers, then there was the TV news, but now everybody's online, telling this and telling that, giving information, misinformation, misguiding people. So I guess I got to change with the time because everybody has. Welcome back to Everybody Has a Podcast. Okay, I'm missing somebody. I'm missing my daughter, Liyah. She's traveling. She went to some Asian Panda Fest up in Nashville. So she's partaking in there. Hey, when you're young, you gotta live. But she was busy this week, so you will see Liyah's lens in this edition of Everybody Has a Podcast. So, speaking of a young lady, let's do ladies first. As we took our focus on soccer this week, we had a couple area teams, Brighton and Millington in Class 2A, and I was paying close attention to that this week. So Millington picks up a big win over Raleigh Egypt 7-0. Brighton takes care of business against Ridgeway 9-0. They meet in the regional championships on that Thursday. Good game. Millington pulls off a 2-0 win in regulation this time, and they advance to host in sectionals while Brighton had to travel. Then South Gibson happened. Saturday morning, South Gibson rose in town in droves. I mean, they played at least 25 players, I'm not exaggerating, and beating the Lady Trojans in their very special season. But what a comeback season for the Millington Lady Trojan. Coach Everson has done a wonderful job. In August, you would not have picked this team to maybe even, they might make the district championship, but to win the district title, regular season and the tournament, and to clinch the regional title. They brought back 2 gold plaques this year. Awesome job. I got to send a shout out to a couple special players. Alexis Williamson, on one of the top scorers on the team, done an awesome job, a quiet leader, but the total opposite of her is Tamia Duckworth, a loud leader, and I'm going to miss her. I watched the young lady grow from a bashful, immature player her freshman year to a leader, and the game means a lot to her. And the loss Saturday hit her hard, but she walked off her field a champion. And I want Tamia to know that, hey, hold your head up high. You're one of the special players in Millington Lady Trojan soccer history, and you definitely made your team and your city proud. So that is our focus on this past week for the ladies, and we get ready for state. We got a few teams left in 3A and the private school division, so we'll keep an eye on that and update you on the next podcast that we do on our ladies' first edition. But right now, let's check out some of the highlights from the week for the Millington Lady Trojans.
Fresh new styles, Jack Blood on the beat.
A little bit, can't crave a little bit of Lady P time.
Welcome back now with the second segment, our football recap. Liyah and I got out to 2 football games this week, so you're going to get a double dose of the Liyah's lens. Our first game we went to was Thursday night, Millington traveling up to Brighton. Brighton ends up winning 41-21. The game was 21-14 at one point in the second half. Millington, they got their quarterback back, Cole Hawkins, battling injury on the side, like the ribs and the back area. Played one heck of a game, toughed it out, and had his team within a touchdown. But then those young baby Cardinals turned it on. Now, when I say young baby Cardinals, their quarterback, Caden Young, is only a sophomore. He is starting to look more calm and just has he has command of the field now. He's a point guard in basketball, so I guess that's starting to translate over to the gridiron as well. Now he got a couple weapons in the backfield. Burrell, number 1. The quick shifty back, he had hit up for a couple touchdowns. Then he has a bruiser in Reggie Holmes, number 26, also a freshman on this team. He is the little bowling ball of that team, and he's one heck of a defensive player. He's just a good football player. So Reggie Holmes, Burrell, Caden Young, watch out for these young baby Cardinals. Coach Settler has a group, the longer they stay together, and they get some of those winning players from the Brighton Middle School, Brighton's going to be a team to watch out for. But the team in Tipton County to watch out for right now in this moment, the Mumford Cougars. Big game Friday night against Germantown. The 29-24 score, it wasn't as close as that score indicates. Mumford went up by a couple scores late in the fourth quarter. There was a couple questionable calls there at the end that helped Germantown score a touchdown with 11.9 seconds left. I almost thought the game was on FanDuel or something like that, so to make it look a little bit closer. But Slade Calhoun's boys took care of business, man. Huge game from the senior, Bryson Turnage. He broke loose for a 55-yard touchdown run that you'll see on my highlights. He did an awesome job. Tay Starks, the efficient running back, did his job. Quay Bell, Kyler Dortch, that backfield is lethal. The big boys, Deacon Hobbs, all those guys in the front doing their job, they stay healthy. Mumford could win no less than 2 games in Class 5A. They seen the best of 6A in this area. They played some good teams across the United States going up to Kentucky. This Mumford team is prepared for the moment. The moment won't be bigger than them. That Springfield loss last year in the first round of playoffs taught those young men a very valuable lesson, not to take anything for granted. You have a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter doesn't mean anything. This team knows how to finish, and I think they can make a nice run. But big, impressive win. And yeah, there's another team in Tipton County to watch out for, the Covington Chargers. They're still undefeated after a blowout win this past week. So it's a lot of good football in the area. Germantown now has to prepare. They still got their league title on the line this week when they play Southwind. Southwind's undefeated overall. So Mumford has Memphis Central for first place in their region. You want to get that 1 seed so you can have a favorable bracket. So a lot of important football left to play. The Millington Trojans play Thursday night against Ridgeway at home, their senior night. Winner gets 4th place and sneaks into the 4A playoff. So a do-or-die game there. So plays are already starting this week, if you think about it, for seeding, and some teams are trying to play to get themselves in. So we'll keep you updated and everything, and we have a special playoff edition coming up. But what's coming up right now, my highlights from, which one? Let's go Brighton Mumford first.
Jack line on the beat.
Number 1, Carrie Burrell,
A little bit of, you can't crave a little bit of Lady B time. Damn.
Welcome back. I'm confused. I don't know which. It was Millington versus Brighton, Mumford versus Germantown. some of the stuff starts to run over together. But speaking of that, sights and sounds, we're getting out to all these games. You just love the pageantry, the tradition. I love hearing one part of high school football, and I say hearing, part of the sights and sounds, the bands. Got a chance to hear Brighton's band and to get their seniors saluted and celebrated. Mumford, one of the traditional best bands in the area, heard them and saw their halftime show. Then when you have opposing teams, you get some variety. Germantown band, they played in the stands, but they got a nice little lively band. I'm looking forward to hearing Memphis Central. We know they went through a little controversy earlier this year. When you're one of the best bands, you're marked, and people be looking for you sometimes. So I'm looking forward to, hoping they get to play and hear them out there at Mumford in the upcoming week. Also part of my sights and sounds this week, like I said, seeing the Millington soccer team have a special season and come to the end Monday, it's always tough when you see your seniors play their last game. At the beginning of the year, it just seems like, oh, another school year. But when October comes, the realization that, hey, this is our senior year, things are about to come to an end. Senior nights for basketball and wrestling they're kind of melancholy, but they kind of like in the middle of the year when you just got done with the holidays and it's cold outside. It really doesn't resonate that this is senior year, but spring, senior days, and senior nights are very emotional because graduation is right around the corner in April and May. But October is always that introduction to, hey, this is our senior year. We're not going to do this again. And like I said, Tamia Duckworth, and to share that moment with her on the field, to watch her play her last game, pour her heart out to the very end, to the final score, and have a sister, a mom, a brother there, her family there, and she's one of the top students in her class, top 5. She's definitely on pace to be a Millington Central High School Hall of Famer. But I'm going to miss listening to her command the field, call out defenses, shout out numbers of the opposing teams and things like that. And she had a different way of leading the team. So that's definitely what's going to stick out for me in my sights and sounds as we close out this month of October of 2025. So I'm going to get it right this time. If I throw you to some highlights of mine, it would be Germantown at Mumford football. Okay, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, as not only for this podcast here, but in our overall football season and our dynamic physical therapy Power 10 rankings at West 10 Media. Yes, we're already down to the final week. Who's going to shake out? We do have some maneuvering in our top 10, so let's go over it. You want to know who's number 1? Let's find out. At number 10, Christian Brothers sneaks back in. They're 4-5, picked up a big 42-14 win over MUS. They will close out the regular season with Father Ryan. At number 9, Bolton rests there at 4-4. They will close out their season with Raleigh Egypt to see them get a winning record and have a great turnaround. Their last game, they won 25-0 over Wooddale. That MUS Owls at 6-3, aforementioned their loss to Christian Brothers, have a tough opponent coming up in a rivalry game against Briarcrest. They welcome Briarcrest to the campus of MUS. St. George's is at number 7. They're 6-3. They have ECS to close out, another rivalry game. Took a tough one on the chin for Lausanne. Like I said, Lausanne has been a thorn in the side of a lot of our area teams because they got some good players over there. At number 6, the Arlington Tigers at 7-2. They close out with a rivalry of Bartlett. They picked up a 16-6 win over White Station to improve to 7-2. At number 5, the Briarcrest Saints at 6-3. They have the game at MUS after picking up a 34-13 win over Liscombe Academy. At number 4, Germantown dropped down to number 4 with their 7-2 record. the 29-24 aforementioned defeat at Mumford. Now they have to welcome Southwind 9-0. Both teams are 2-0 in their region. Winner is first place. It's as simple as that. Number 3 at 6-3, the Collierville Dragons. Their rivalry game this week for the Mayor's Cup against Houston. At Houston, they picked up a 58-0 win over Cordova, getting ready for that game and that showdown with the Mustangs. At number 2, at 9-0, from Tipton County, you're still waiting, ain't you? The Covington Chargers. They dropped down to number 2 after a 62-0 win over McNairy Central. They have a good chance of being number 1 if they can show up at Westview and beat Martin Westview. So the championship is still in play for the Covington Chargers. And at number 1, we're putting a little respect on their name at 9-0 from Tipton County, the Mumford Cougars. Big win over Germantown this week by 5 points. The game wasn't as close as that. They have a chance to submit their number 1 seed, showing up against Memphis Central. Both teams are 2-0 in their class, 3-0 in their classification. Winner takes all there as well. So that wraps up the Power 10 for this week. Wraps up this week's podcast where I'm running a solo ship. So I guess the 1-1 means one person. But I think me and Liyah will get together and do a special playoff edition, and we might invite a couple of special guests so we can get things rolling and get some insight from other people in the area who's been paying closer attention to the other area teams of West 10 Media. But to close out, to prove that Liyah was working this week, here's Liyah's Lens.
Ooh, wee, that's Chad Blunt on the beat, baby.
West End,